Welcome to the tutorial on how to use the new TrueColors International Online Assessment. Most likely you're a client that has used the previous version of the TrueColors Online Assessment, and this video has been prepared in order to give you the 7 steps to getting started with the new system, and also to talk about some of the differences between the old system and the new system. You were probably provided an email that has a login and password to the TrueColorsAssessment.com website. Once you come to the website, you'd click on the Account Login button. Then you would put in your username and password provided in your email, and then click Login. This brings you to the new administration area for the online assessment. You will notice that on the home page there are 3 buttons, 3 bullet points. The first bullet point is the 7-step first-time user guide. We highly recommend that you review this guide and cover the basic steps of getting familiar with the system. The second bullet is the full account instruction guide, which covers all of the details of the features available with the assessment. We're going to go ahead and start with covering the basic 7 steps that will get you familiar with using the new system. The first step is to check your account settings and to make sure that we have all your information correctly inputted into the system. You'd click on Account on the left-hand menu, and it'll pull up your contact, your company name, and the basic information about your account. Review this information and make any appropriate changes, and then click on Update to save those changes. That would cover step 1. Step 2 is, do you need to purchase any additional assessment credits? You might have been provided with some transfer credits from the old system to this new system, or you might have purchased in bulk. In that case, you would already have the assessments in your account. If you do need to purchase them, you would click on the Purchase Credits button, and then click on the Purchase Credits button on the next screen. Here, you would choose the assessment, TrueColors, enter in the quantity of assessment credits you need, fill out your credit card information, and then hit Submit. This will then add those assessments into your account. To verify that, you could click on the View Balance button on the previous screen, which would show your net and the available credits. Once you have ordered additional assessment credits, or you have verified that you have the appropriate amount in your account, that would cover step 2. Step 3 is you have the option to upload a logo, and that logo can appear on the cover page of your reports. You would click on the Upload Logo button on the account screen, select the file from your local computer, then click the Upload Logo button. This will then pull that logo into the system and have it ready to be generated on the covers of your reports. You can preview the logo by clicking on the Preview button to make sure that you've uploaded the appropriate logo. This would cover our step 3. Step 4 of the process deals with some additional custom branding where you can modify the header and the footer of the admin panel, so when your clients or customers come to the site, they possibly see your logo or your design. That's found under the Header Footer tab on the left. You would click Header Footer, come down to the HTML editor, choose Header. In this case, I'm going to update the file at the top, and I'm going to put a logo in there. I'll select the Image Upload Manager, which will then allow me to select from my own computer again a logo or a banner that I would like to use for this site. I will go ahead and use the same sample logo that I loaded for my reports, hit Upload, and then the file will be ready for me to select. I could choose additional files or add other code such as HTML or things like that in order to produce the appropriate header file. So once I've come to this, I can choose, in this case I will go ahead and choose my sample logo. I will click Insert, I'll see it fall into the editor, and then I'll hit the Save button at the bottom of the screen. To verify that the logo has accepted and will show itself on the screen, I can click on any of the tabs such as Groups or End Users, and I'll now notice that the design has changed to my Assessment Administrative Center logo that I decided to choose for my design. If you want to revert back to the default design of the system, you would click on Header Footer, go in here and delete the file that you uploaded click Save, and your account will then go back to the logo, the default logo of the system, which is the True Colors International logo. So you do have options to modify the design of your site in order to match branding of your own personal website. Step 5, 6, and 7 get into the actual sending of the assessments and providing access to the people within your company or the members that you're working with, the individuals, if you're a trainer or coach. Step 5 covers setting up groups. When you're sending out the assessments and you're using the system, you might want to put people in particular groups or have separate categories, and that's where our groups come into play. You click on Groups, click here to add a new group, put in the group name, which in this case I'll just call Sample Group, and hit Insert. If I want to create multiple groups in one sitting, I could go ahead and do that, and I might say that this is the demo group. These could be departments within the company. They could be particular training dates or locations. It's up to you. It's just used to categorize the peoples for filtering and sorting purposes down the road, or to possibly create group reports. That would cover step 5, setting up groups. You can set up groups at any point in time throughout the process, and any time down the road when you have new situations that come up. Step 6 is actually creating the assessment link in which people will use to take the assessment. And here's fundamentally probably the biggest difference between the older system and the new system. Is in the older system, you would come to a page called Send Assessments, and you would type in individually people's first names, last names, and email addresses, or you would possibly do an Excel import where you would import those names and email addresses into the system, in which then you would click a Distribute button or a Send button, and the system would automatically send out emails to those individuals. In this new environment, we actually create links. And that link can give access to multiple people by all going to the same link. And you, as the administrator, would send out an email from your own email system to the people you want taking the assessment. So we'll go ahead here and create our first link. So I'm going to call this link Training December. This is just for my own internal purpose, so I know that this link is for this training class I'm going to do in December. I will choose the True Colors assessment on the right. The next option is, do I want to allow observers? Do I want to activate the 360 component of this particular assessment? And in this case I do. My next option is, do I want to give the individuals taking the assessment access to using the reports? Yes or no. Or access to viewing the reports? Yes or no. So this is if I want to hold the reports myself or I want to give the reports to each individual. I can choose yes or no with that checkbox. Here's where the groups come into play. This particular training is part of my sample group, so I will choose that. If there were available options for different languages for your account, you would have additional language options in the drop-down. In this case, in this demo, I just have English. The confirmation email is an email that is sent automatically by our system when somebody registers to take an assessment. Generally, it's used to give them return access to the system, and it can say anything else that you might want it to, such as, thank you for taking the assessment. Please print out the report and bring it to our training at the end of December, or I have additional products that I'd like to offer, or anything that you can think of, it can be used. And you can think of it as like a receipt, a confirmation that they have registered. It does give them access back to their account if they need to. So I could edit any of the components of this email could be edited. Anything that's surrounded by the % signs is a variable. So in this case it might say Dear Sample User. A name is the name of your account. So Sample Account, thanks you for taking our assessment. And the blue link is the return link that will get merged in by the system that gives them access back. So you are more than welcome to edit any part of this. It's set up to be pretty standard. However, just know that it is sent to each person who registers to take an assessment. So once you make edits to that, you can click the update button and it'll save. The max number of uses. How many times can this particular link be used? So in this particular training, I'm going to say I have 5 people. So I'm only going to allow this link to be used 5 times. Do I want to have a copy of this report sent to a particular email address? So maybe the trainer in this case, their email is sample@email.com. I'd like this person to have a copy, so I could put in the email address. I could put in multiple email addresses separated by a semicolon. The report is attached email is the actual content of the email that has the PDF report attached. You also have the capability to edit that. The last two options are, do I want to email a copy of this report to the individual, the end user that has completed the assessment? In this case, since I'm giving them the results, I'll go ahead and check that box. The final option is, does this link expire? Well, since this is a training for December, I'm going to say I need everybody to have this link completed by, let's say, December 14th. I don't have to put an expiration date, but if I choose to, I can. And then I hit Insert. Now my link has been created. I would copy this link, paste it into an email, and send that email off to all of the individuals that I want taking that assessment. I can create multiple links as time goes on, as I have new events. Each time somebody uses an assessment, it will deduct a credit from my account. Step 7 of our user guide is to actually run a demo yourself. So if you're curious what the process would be for an individual, you can copy your link, you can paste it in there, and go ahead and go through this process on your own to see exactly what each individual would see. So in this case, I'll go ahead and do that. I'll say this is sample user, testing user, with an email address of email@email.com. And then I will click Next. You can go ahead and complete the assessment if you'd like to. We can then delete that test record, or you can just click around and get an idea. So the individual would log in, they would see the assessment questionnaire, go ahead and select their answers, complete it, and depending on the characteristics of the link you set up, reports would be emailed to certain places, or they'd be available to the individuals on the screen or to you on the screen. So that right there covers the basic 7 steps to getting used to the system and how you would just basically get an understanding of what the new software does. Additional components that of interest would be group reporting. This is a page where you could actually run group reports. I'd like to run the group charts for a particular group or particular links that I've set up. The individuals who fall into those groups or links would appear in the boxes below. You'd have the options to select them and then run a group report that will graph everybody. The end users page is the page that would show all of the data of all the individuals that have come into the system. In this case, you'll see that the only one in this, since it's a brand new account used for this demo, was the person called sample user that I just set up based off my demo link. More records would fall into this table once more people came through my links. Additional components here is the instruction guide. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the full instruction guide. It'll cover the details of every single page if you had questions about what an actual page does. So the purpose of this tutorial was just to give you the basic 7 steps to getting started. If you want to learn more about each individual page and the functionality in detail, you'd find that in the instruction guide, which covers everything that we've covered, but in a lot of cases maybe some additional detail. The FAQ section of the admin covers a variety of questions that have been asked over time. For example, I am not receiving reports via email, and the recommendations for troubleshooting that. How do I invite people to take assessments? That is covered in the instruction guides, as well as in here in regards to setting up your assessment access links. Let's see here. Another one would be here. Do my end users have to receive an email upon completing the assessment? As an admin, how can I access observer reports? So if there are certain questions that you have, you might find them in the FAQs. If you have any questions along the line, or you would like to report a suggestion or report a problem, you would click on Support on the left-hand menu, and you can email us at any time with your suggestions or improvements, or if there are issues. That basically will cover the initial onboarding into the TrueColors new TrueColors International new online assessment versus the older system. Off the top of my head, some additional things I can think of that are different from the old system to the new system. Primarily, it revolves around the way you invite people to take the assessments. You use assessment links in the new system versus the individual names and email addresses in the old system. You yourself, as the admin, send out the email to the individuals. And the primary reason for this is when you send from your own email, it's less likely to be blocked by the ever-changing and expanding spam filters and company firewalls that do their best to block emails sent from third-party systems. There's additional features with group reporting on this new system as opposed to the older system. And you'll notice that the individuals that are taking the assessments will find a smoother transition into their observers if you're using the 360, and completing the assessment, which has been developed into a drag and drop environment with a visual ranking as opposed to selecting the 1, 2, 3, 4 options of the older system. There are also plenty of other benefits that I'm sure you'll notice as you go through this. So to summarize, getting started in the new system, you will log in. You will click on the first bullet on the home page to go through that 7 steps that I've covered. If you have individual questions about pages, you'll find them in the full account instruction guide. And we've also created a third instruction guide that you can pass on to the individuals, your end users, on how to engage in the 360 component of the software and how their individual admins work, if necessary, which you could attach to the initial invitation email you send. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and please contact us anytime if you have any further questions. Thank you.